Okay, so you want to own a nail salon. Find a building, fill it with spa chairs, and watch the money roll in. That's the plan in your head, and it's not a bad plan. Walk into any nail salon on a weekend afternoon, and it looks like the easiest business in the world. Every chair is taken. The techs are working non-stop. The distinct smell of acrylic mixes with loud chatter, and there's a line at the front desk. You watch that scene, and you think, this place must be printing money. More techs, more clients, more money. Simple. Here's the problem. You are looking at the 1 hour of the week that lies to you the most. The truth is that a nail salon is not really a beauty business. It is a brutal human resources and cash flow operation that happens to have nail polish in it. And the moment you understand that difference, everything about how a salon makes money and how it quietly loses money starts to make sense. Let's strip the polish off this industry and look at the bare nail bed of the P&L. We are going to dissect the economics of the modern nail salon, moving from the illusion of the packed floor to the staggering hidden costs, the lethal math of commission splits, and the unit economics that dictate why the shop down the street went bankrupt while the one across town is expanding. The first mistake amateur owners make is treating a nail salon like a retail clothing store. You don't just sign a lease, roll in some inventory, and open the doors. You are essentially building a localized chemical-grade plumbing facility. Let's talk capital expenditure, CapEx. Those luxury pedicure chairs, they aren't just furniture, they are fixed infrastructure. Each one requires a dedicated hot and cold water supply, a mechanized drain, and specialized backflow preventers so contaminated foot bath water doesn't siphon back into the city's drinking supply. In a commercial space, that means you are trenching concrete. You are paying union or specialized commercial plumbers to cut trenches into the foundation of your leased unit to lay 2-inch PVC drain lines. And then there's the hot water. 10 pedicure chairs running simultaneously on a Saturday morning will drain a standard residential water heater in 6 minutes. You need massive, commercial-grade, high-recovery water heaters, often multiple units, or high-capacity tankless systems. But the plumbing is cheap compared to the air. A nail salon is a chemical environment. The monomer liquids and polymer powders used in acrylics produce volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Modern building codes and the International Mechanical Code, IMC, don't let you just crack a window. You are required to install source capture ventilation systems, essentially specialized vacuums built into every single manicure table, piped through the ceiling, and exhausted outside. You must overhaul the entire HVAC system to guarantee a specific rate of continuous air exchange. Before you have painted a single nail, before you have swiped a single credit card, you are in the hole for $150,000 to $300,000 in build-out costs alone. And here's the kicker. You are spending this money on infrastructure bolted to a building you do not own. Once the doors open, you face the operating expenses, OpEx. Most outsiders think the primary supply cost is nail polish. It's not. Polish is incredibly cheap per application. The financial bleed comes from the invisible consumables and the shift in consumer trends. The industry has moved heavily toward gel polishes and dip powders. To be competitive, you can't have 10 colors. You need 500. At $15 to $20 a bottle for high-end gel, you are sitting on $10,000 of liquid inventory that has a shelf life. It thickens, it separates, it expires. Then come the true consumables: hospital-grade disinfectants, barbicide, sterilization pouches, single-use files, buffers, pumice stones, acetone by the gallon, lint-free wipes, nitrile gloves, and table towels. These items cost pennies individually, but in a high-volume shop, they are a compounding, relentless tax on your gross revenue. If you do 100 clients a day, the cost of single-use sanitary items alone can easily chew through $1,500 to $2,000 a month. And if your techs are wasteful, using 3 pumps of lotion when one will do, or spilling expensive monomer, your margin doesn't just shrink, it evaporates. Now we reach the apex predator of the salon business model, labor. The traditional nail salon operates on a commission split. The industry standard is usually 60-40. The nail technician takes 60% of the service revenue, and the house, you, keeps 40%. Some markets demand 65-35 or even 70-30 for master technicians. Let's do the brutal math on a $70 acrylic fill and gel color. The client hands you a credit card for $70. Immediately, the technician takes $42. You, the owner, are left with $28. From that $28, the credit card processor takes $2. Your consumable supplies for that service cost roughly $5. You are now left with $21. Out of that $21, you must pay your $6,000 monthly rent, the massive electric and water bills, the liability insurance, the receptionist's hourly wage, the booking software subscription, and the loan payments on that $200,000 build-out. When you run these numbers at scale, you realize a terrifying truth. The salon owner's net profit margin on that $70 service is often between $4 and $7. You are operating on razor-thin margins of 6% to 10%, disguised by high cash flow. You feel rich because $5,000 moved through your register on a Saturday, but you are only keeping $400 of it. But the math isn't even the most dangerous part of the labor model. It's the leverage. In a traditional salon, you don't actually own a business. You are running a co-working space for independent contractors. If you have a star technician, let's call her Sarah, who is booked solid weeks in advance, she is generating massive revenue. But those aren't your clients. They are Sarah's clients. Because the service is deeply intimate and requires physical touch and trust, the customer-technician bond is 10 times stronger than the customer-salon bond. If you upset Sarah, or if she realizes she can rent a private salon suite down the road, she will leave. And when she leaves, she will take 80% of her clientele with her. You, the owner, paid the marketing costs to acquire those clients. You paid the overhead to host them, and Sarah walks away with the lifetime value of that customer. This is the hostage crisis of the salon industry. Your best revenue generators are also your most severe liabilities. Furthermore, there is the looming shadow of the IRS. Historically, salons classified techs as 1099 independent contractors to avoid paying payroll taxes, workers' comp, and unemployment insurance. But if you dictate their hours, provide their supplies, and make them wear a uniform, the government classifies them as W-2 employees. State labor boards are cracking down aggressively. A single audit reclassifying your workforce can result in hundreds of thousands of dollars in back taxes and penalties, bankrupting the salon overnight. To survive this meat grinder, an owner must become obsessed with customer lifetime value, LTV, and capacity utilization. Remember that packed Saturday from the hook? That's 100% capacity utilization. But rent, insurance, and equipment depreciation don't stop on Tuesday morning when the salon is operating at 15% capacity. The only way to achieve profitability is to flatten the demand curve. A walk-in client who wants a basic $25 manicure once a year for a wedding is a low-value transaction. They clog the schedule on weekends. The holy grail of the economics is the bi-weekly fill. A client who gets a liquid gel fill every 2 weeks at $60 a pop, plus a $10 tip, which goes to the tech, but keeps the tech happy. Spends $1,560 a year. If you retain that client for 4 years, their LTV is over $6,200. Because margins are so tight per transaction, your entire economic model relies on zero-friction retention. If a client gets a minor fungal infection from improperly sterilized implements, or if they have to wait 45 minutes past their appointment time because your front desk double-booked, they don't just ask for a $60 refund. They leave forever, taking their $6,200 LTV with them, and they write a 1-star Yelp review that spikes your customer acquisition cost, CAC, for the next 6 months. Let's put it all together and look at a mature, well-run salon doing $500,000 in gross revenue. Gross annual revenue, $500,000. Labor, 60% tech split plus reception desk, $320,000. Gross profit, $180,000 rent, including NNN/CAM charges for a premium strip mall. $65,000 supplies and consumables, approximately 8% of gross. $40,000 utilities, water, electricity, internet. $12,000 merchant processing fees, 3%. $15,000 insurance, software, marketing, maintenance, $18,000. Total operating expenses, $150,000 net operating income, profit, $30,000. Read that carefully. You built a $500,000 machine, managed 15 distinct personalities, dealt with hazardous chemicals, toxic fumes, and state board inspectors, and your net profit is $30,000. A 6% net margin, and that assumes your air conditioning unit doesn't blow out in July, which would wipe out a third of your annual profit in a single afternoon. When you look at the economics of a nail salon, you realize that the polish, the spa chairs, and the aesthetic are just a facade. The true business is a high-wire act of cash flow management, micro-penny pinching on consumables, and psychological warfare in human resources. The salons that survive and build wealth are not the ones with the prettiest Instagram feeds. They are the ones that flip the leverage. They transition from 1,099 contractors to W-2 employees with guaranteed hourly rates plus performance bonuses, capping labor costs at 45% instead of 60%. They build a brand that is bigger than any single technician, ensuring that if a tech leaves, the client stays because they are loyal to the salon's standard of hygiene, consistency, and customer experience. The brutal reality of this revenue chart is that volume does not equal profit. In the nail industry, you can go bankrupt with a line out the door. The single ultimate factor that determines who survives and who dies is leverage. If you control the brand, the customer experience, and the cost of labor, you own a highly lucrative cash machine. If you leave that control in the hands of your technicians, you don't own a business at all. You are just a stressed-out landlord, subsidizing an illusion, one $50 manicure at a time.
Hey everyone, huge thanks for watching. If you liked it, please hit that red like and subscribe button over here. Thanks again.